Hi everyone, and welcome back to your local Aliso VA home market snapshot. My name is Jackie Chase with the Chase Group, and I have Bryan Wilson joining us here today, our local mortgage lender with Aliso Niguel. And he's going to tell us a little bit about a reverse mortgage and if and when it might be applicable and something that you might want to look into. So Bryan, let's say that I'm 65 years old and I'm thinking about a reverse mortgage.
Okay.
What is that and how can it benefit me?
Well, it doesn't really work in reverse like this. The name has a tendency to throw people off. I would like to get that name changed to something else, but technically a reverse mortgage is like a home equity line of credit.
Where you're pulling money out?
Yeah, you get an initial line of credit, but the only difference when you have a home equity line of credit with a bank, there is a fixed monthly payment. With a reverse mortgage, you get the same home equity line of credit, but there's no required monthly payment. So if you choose to use a line of credit to pay off a mortgage, use it for medical expenses, use it for vacations, or whatever, and you say, hey, I never want to make a payment back.
Right.
All they do is they take the money that you've borrowed, plus the interest that accrues, and they just keep putting it in their bank, in a bank to collect at a future date when the people pass away.
Okay, so let's say that let's say that I'm living in a condo and I have $400,000 in equity. Mm-hmm. So I'm retired and I don't want to make another payment. How would that benefit me? They would take out whatever they project over the next 10 years or whatever my total equity would be. They would put that aside and they would be making the payments for me every month? No,
there's no payments on it. It's with a reverse mortgage, how it works is you get a percentage of the value of your home. If your home's worth $400,000, you can't get a $400,000 credit line. There's a formula FHA uses based on value of the property, age of the consumer. They're also taking into account appreciation in the areas over X amount of years, and they'll give you a set amount. A good point is my mom's 79. We just looked into this. She has a $1.2 million home, and she is allowed to get a home equity credit line or reverse mortgage credit line for close to $500,000.
Okay.
So if she starts to choose to use that line, say if she doesn't take all of it per se, say she took $100,000 out, the interest only accrues on that $100,000, mm-hmm. and if she chooses to make a payment to pay it down, it works like a traditional loan. But if she chooses just to say, well, I'm not concerned about paying it back, I'll just let the money grow, mm-hmm. because when you borrow that money, the interest accrues on top of it.
Right.
It will just keep growing till she passes away. And then at that time when the home is sold, whatever's owed to the bank, they get it at that time.
Okay.
But she can stay in the house the whole time. The bank does not own the house. And so it's really just a home equity line of credit again without any predetermined payment requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say the main advantage over that would be what versus a line of credit?
Well, if you could qualify and still have the means to pay back a line of credit, that's always the traditional way to go.
Okay.
But unfortunately, as things have gotten more expensive for senior citizens, the reverse mortgage has really become a last line of defense that they get to stay in their house, because on traditional loans where they keep borrowing a lot of the senior citizens to get money to live off, eventually they just can't borrow anymore. They either retire and lose some of their income.
Right.
So they just hit a wall, and now all they're maybe living off is their Social Security, which doesn't cover all their living expenses. So you can get the reverse mortgage, get the most cash out possible, have a line of credit for medical emergencies or long-term health care as well. And
now that makes sense. So let's say that a parent has to go into a nursing home, for example. This might mm-hmm. be a good option.
That's exactly why my mom's in perfectly good health, but we're getting it for her just because it'll be there when she needs that down the road. And there's one other function of a reverse mortgage, a home equity line of credit through the FHA reverse mortgage, is your amount grows every year, your credit line grows every year. So a lot of people take them out now with no intent of using them, and every year they grow by the rate on the loan, what the rate's accruing interest on.
Right.
Yeah, so most reverse mortgage lines of credit are growing like 5%, 6% a year. So if you hold on to that 20 years, if you took out a $500,000 credit line, now it's going to be almost $1 million one when you might need to use it.
I see.
Yeah, it has what's called a growth factor on it.
Oh, interesting. So that's
Yeah.
different. Okay, well, thank you for stopping by and thank you for explaining that. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Okay.
Thank you.